Hello everyone and namaste. Today we are going to discuss about an important aspect of our practice. Emails have become an integral part of our audit documentation and long-term preservation of email correspondence, and it is an imperative responsibility on us. However, frequently we are stung by email box size limitations, and we have to choose between which emails to be written and which emails to be deleted. And failure to clear our email boxes would lead to rejection of emails by the server, and that would be an even more catastrophic situation. And another critical issue involved here is how do we archive emails of past employees, as they too are integral part of documentation requirements. Continuing on to hold on to mail IDs, mail accounts involves costs, which is again not exactly remunerative. Various means are used to archive emails, like number one, creating multiple free email accounts and transferring data to those to the max limit allowed. Say for example, Gmail allows up to 15 GB, so we can choose transferring the emails up to 15 GB to that one email ID. However, this process itself is not that easy, and retrieval of mail from such numerous accounts is also cumbersome. It's not an easy task. A second option would be downloading mails to an email client and deleting the mails from server. Again, here there are inherent limitations of email clients. With more and more data they tend to get slower and slower. This would hamper routine use of mail clients, and because of excessive RAM usage, your other software also might become slower. Uh, Further backing up of this email client data itself is not that easy. Suppose your OS installation crashes, then all your data is lost. Hence, email client is not an ideal archiving solution. Then there are third option, that of having a specialized email backing software or services. Here again, using services would again cost you, if not equivalent to having a mailbox, or slightly lesser than that, but there is cost involved. Thus, they are not exactly preferable. An ideal situation would be where you have a archiving software on your systems and maintaining the backup data with yourself. This way, you can have more storage of emails and would be readily available with you whenever you want. A software which can give us this kind of solution would be an ideal list. Mail store is one such solutions which we'll be discussing today. It ticks all the concerns discussed before, hence would be an ideal solution for us. Further, they have a fully functional free version called Mailstore Home. Needless to say, anything free has some conditions attached to it. This free version has a condition of limiting mail accounts to three only. So, does this limitation reduce the utility of software? Yes, definitely it would be for those wanting up to backup more than three accounts. Then is this the end of road for this version as far as we are concerned? No, not exactly. There are workarounds on how to get over this limitation. Keep watching till the end of this video to know exactly how to overcome these limitations. And before we start the session, I would request you to share this video and subscribe to my channel. Once in a while, I intend to bring such useful short videos which will help us in our daily practice. And keep sharing the videos with your friends so that everybody can make maximum utilization of this information. So let us begin. Let us start our email archiving session with downloading the software. Basically, we'll be downloading from the website of mailstore.com. So mailstore.com has got a free version. If you go here, Mailstore Home. Mailstore Home is a free version, so you can download it. And if you want to buy a license copy, then I think it is costing around 229 US. So once we download this file, now we have this Mailstore Home. Double click on it. is first you have to agree, then next. You can install it directly on this PC like normally how other softwares are installed, or you can install a portable version which you can save on any other directory other than C, which is the installation directory. Normally, I use portable version on some other drives only because portable version can be moved to a new location and the same data can be continued to be used. If you install it as a application on the C drive, then the storage location is fixed. Moving that will be difficult. So having the portable version on some one of the drives is very convenient, and also for taking backups also it is very convenient. You can choose any drive. It shows all the drives, or if you want to install it on any other directory, you can select and install it there. So once you select that and install, it's a very small installation. It starts instantly. So once you boot up, it prompts whether you want to keep the update checking in automatic. Now we have to start archiving. So we have to set up your account. So let us define our account. Now once you start, you just type your email ID and start. But configuring it like this is bit what we say tedious. So instead they have given some certain shortcuts. Now for example, I have my G Suite linked IDs for my office use, and my personal use email ID is also Gmail ID. We will try to set that up. Now, once you type in your email here, you have to authorize for access, authorize the Gmail or Google Suite to give authority to this application to fetch the data, emails from your account. So it takes you directly to the browser for authorizing. Here, the authority you are giving is read, compose, send, and permanently delete all our email. By default, deleting email is disabled, and since we are using it primarily for archiving our email, so read is the main option we are going to use. We will allow the access. So now the access authorization is complete. Now we go back to the application. Now if you see, application is authorized. If you want to test, you can test, otherwise it is not required generally. Click next. Now it gives a confirmation that your profile for email ID is created. So like this, you can keep on adding your email accounts. Again, I would like to bring to your notice that in this home version, which is a freeware, there is a limit of 3 accounts for each instance of this mail store installation. That is the limit you face. So you can create 3 mail ID profiles. So once the profile is created, you can start run. So it starts processing. Now this is going to take a long time to process. So what I will do, I will cancel this and start instance where already my data is backed up. Yeah, let's move ahead. Now what I have done is I have taken my actual archive installation where my actual email IDs are recorded so that we can have a proper review of the search facilities. Now, before we start our archiving activity, I would like to bring to your attention certain settings have to be updated in Gmail also. Go to Gmail, go to settings and see all settings, and there go to labels. And in labels, make sure that all the labels are having show in IMAP tick. So only those labels which have that IMAP show in IMAP tick will be archived. Basically, what Gmail does is there are no folders, there are only labels. So there are only 2 folders, inbox and sent item, and spam, of course. So if any label is missed out in this show in IMAP, then that will not be archived. So it's better you enable for all your labels. So once we are done labeling, we are ready to go with the archiving process. For archiving other email types other than what we say in Gmail, here you can go for other mail servers. If your specific mail server is not listed here, you can select a generic description here. Either it is the IMAP or POP3. Again, you will have to check in your email whether IMAP is enabled or not. POP3 is by default enabled. So if you go there, then you need to enter all these details of configuration. Once you configure, you can test it and then start using it. Another way of generating your archive is importing data from your email clients. Suppose if you are using any of these email clients, for example, Microsoft Outlook or Thunderbird, you can configure Mailstore Home to extract or archive in emails from those email clients. So in this, the archiving process will be very fast as there is no need to retrieve the information through internet. All the data is locally available. It can be extracted very fast, and you can archive directly accessing the files. For example, these Microsoft Outlook files are saved in a .pst extension file. So you can give a link of that file directly, and if it is password protected, it will directly fetch data from that. Like this, you have various options of archiving your email data. Now we'll see some of the administrative settings here. First of all, this one gives where is the location of your storage. Next is what extension or attachments are to be included in search index. So as you can see, most of our office extensions are included. However, PDF is not there. For including PDF files, a separate installation has to be done to enable the software to access PDF files. You can click here and go to the website of that company, and instructions are there how to download and install. You can do that if you want to search through PDF files. Next is rebuilding of index. Suppose due to unknown reasons your system crashes or this application crashes, then you have to rebuild the index. And again, in case of crashes, you can check data integrity and free unused disk space. Now, suppose you have archived some emails, and after some time, after your depending on your email retention policy, you can delete those. But the total space on a hard disk will be same. Automatically, the disk usage by this software is not going to reduce just because you have deleted certain emails. So for that, you have to click on this free unused disk space. Then it will reallocate the hard disk, means free up the hard disk utilized by this application. Now, after administrative tools, you can protect your archive with a password. You can have a password so that access to this archive is restricted. Next is you can take backup of this installation either to another hard disk or a pen drive. And since this is a portable installation, we can directly copy the folder. For example, this data which we are using, this backup was taken in my office, but I have copied that as a secondary backup to my home PC, and from home PC I am accessing this. So like this, you can have easy portability of data. If you want to export certain email account, you can do it back, export it back to a server or to a mail client, whatever be the reasons. Suppose if you want to hand over all emails of a particular email account to somebody for investigation or something, then you will have to extract. You can extract it to a specified email client and give those files, or you can directly generate PST files for that. So like this, it will be easy for you to share specific backup or specific email ID backups. This is a quick search options here. Option here. So type any content you want to search and press search. So it will search for that content. So it will list out all email IDs containing that those phrase or words in that quick search. However, if you want to do a detailed search, then you have to go in search email. Here you have to mention what is the search text and in where you want to search these contents. whether you want to limit it to specific folders, or if you want sender's email ID or receiver's email IDs here, date range of that email, or archiving range. You can set up emails with attachment or without attachment, size wise. So a very detailed criteria can be specified to search your email, so that results are concise and relevant. Suppose some search you are doing for a certain this thing, and in between, if you have to shut down your computer or go somewhere else, you can create a folder for that search. Now you can see here a folder is created. If I go there, all emails matching that criteria are listed here. So you don't have to regenerate this search. So once you generate this search, you have saved this search, and later on when you restart your machine, you can have access to this your specific search. So like this, it's a very convenient way to search your emails. We searched our mails, certain mails for according to our criteria. Now we have our search data. Oh, now what to do with this search data, right? That's the next question. Okay, we found the email. Now what can we do with that email? That's a logical question. You can save that particular email as an email file, which can be opened in this thing. The dot message is Outlook file, and dot EML is in other email applications like Thunderbird. You can open that particular this thing. So you can export a particular email message as an individual file and open in the particular email client. You can print it, and further, if it is a lengthy mail and if you want to further search something in that particular text, you can search again within that email. Certain metadata you can view, and you can export this particular email to your email client. Now this is my default mail application, which is defined on my PC. If I click open in default application, it opens in the default mail application. So this is how you export individual email. Earlier we saw how to export the whole email account, and here we saw how to export a particular email only. You can delete certain emails. For example, if you want to delete, you can select do multiple email selection and press delete. It will delete the mail. Then the mail is permanently lost. It is not no more in your archive, and there is no recycle bin in this, so you cannot restore that. Now we are taking archive of our email IDs to reduce the mailbox consumption on our online mail. So by default, deleting of email is deactivated. Now, does it mean we have to go into our this thing online and do manual deletions of emails there? No, there is a way of doing that. Suppose I select this account and I go into properties, go into next. Here, while installation we saw messages are never deleted in Gmail. If you go here in the settings of this, you can specify when those mails on server are going to be deleted. First option is never, immediately after archiving, at least how many days after archiving, or if message is older than, you can specify message is older than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. You can specify, and this software while running that backup schedule, it will delete those older emails also. Like this, you can delete old mails on your server and free up space on your mail server. In the beginning of the video, we discussed that for this mail store home version, only 3 accounts is allowed. So is there a workaround? Yes, there is definitely a workaround for that. Let me explain with again executing that installation file. So here we have to specify where that installation is to be done. So suppose we have already installed it on my G. Okay, it is on my G drive. I can do next installation on my D drive, E drive, H drive, or wherever I want. So I can have another version, another 3 account. Or if I want in G only, I can say install on another directory, because by default it creates on this mail store home this thing. When if I select D drive, it shows D mail store home. So if I want, I can change the directory. So I can have mail store home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. And each installation will support up to 3 accounts. Here I have to select that particular folder and I can run that is how you can stretch beyond the limitation of this home version. However, if you decide to subscribe to the Mailstore server version, it has got many more features. What we have seen is very only basic mail archiving options. There you have further additional archiving options. For example, your archiving of emails can be live. So here we have to execute the archiving this thing by pressing on selecting the account and pressing run. There, once your server is running on the background, automatically it can archive. That setting you can enable when emails can be archived immediately upon sending or receiving or at a fixed time. So you can schedule that, and you can prevent users from deleting emails once archived. So basically, every employee will have access to these email account archive. But as an admin, you can lock the ability to delete by employees. So that way, the sanctity of archiving or log is maintained. And another thing is, if same file is being shared between the employees for multiple times, it has got a smart attachment saving this thing based on some criteria. That file is saved only once. So though in each employee's email box that file is there, but in archive only one instance will be saved and that will be available to all the employees. So like this, there is a lot of mail space saving also. Now the company claims that by using Mailstore server, you can save up to 70% space. Yes, again, it depends on case to case basis. But yes, if basically if file attachments are going to be saved only once, it's a significant space saving. But whether that is the criteria, it depends on how your setup is there. Plus, that basic subscription of $229 gives access to only 5 users. So if you want to have more users, there is a per user additional license. Although that $229 is a one-time license fee for future upgrades, then you have to subscribe, basically like EMC what we do. So current version will be available for life. If you want upgrade, then you have to subscribe for upgrades. So that's it, friends. This was the detailed tutorial about mail archiving software. Do let me know if you know of any other mail archiving software better than this or cheaper than this, or general means if it is worth discovering and discussing, let me know. Let us try and share this information amongst our fraternity so that everybody can take maximum utilization of such software. Thank you for watching the email. Again, I would request you to subscribe my channel and share this video. And thank you once again.